We are going to be in Auburn, Alabama, Saturday. The Every Given Saturday tour is headed to Lee County, Alabama. And we are going there because Penn State is playing Auburn. Penn State is a 3 or 2.5 point favorite, depending on what time of day you check your odds board. This is going to be fun. We were at this game last year, Whiteout in Happy Valley, one of the best experiences I've ever had in my college football life. It was, like I described it, a pro wrestling event in a football stadium. What an environment. And what a game. 28-20 was the final last year. Penn State gets the better of Auburn. That was once upon a time when Bo Nix played quarterback for the Auburn Tigers. It's still Clifford at Penn State. Could be the title of a book now. It's still Clifford. I was thinking about something today because I know that if you've watched Auburn so far this year, they've looked bad. I mean, bad. Offensively, if you figure out what they're doing, let me know. But the point is, like I just said, don't be selling teams down the river, especially ones with talent rosters as good as Auburn's. Bud puts out that blue chip ratio every year, and there's Auburn just kind of hovering in that 10 to 15, 17 range. Better than you think they are, more talented than you think they are. They got home field at their back Saturday, and pretty much the entire country picking against them. So I told Jesse, who is Penn State through and through, I asked Jesse, hey, get me something. Find me something for the audience to chew on. Like, what would jump out to people? Because a lot of folks cannot get it through their minds that Auburn could win this game Saturday. You think it'll be competitive. You think it'll be a nice, hostile environment, good test for Penn State, but you trust Penn State's offense more. You may trust their defense more. You just think they have more game changers. And you know what? You're not wrong. Penn State's a better team than Auburn. I think they got a better talent roster than Auburn. And you know what? I don't know if everyone realizes that, but they do. But I want you to listen to this little stat here. First off, you may think James Franklin, when he was at Vandy, played a game at Auburn. He did not. He played against them. He did not play at Auburn. So he's never been in there. It's a new environment for all of them. James Franklin's been at Penn State quite a while. He has played 37 games on the road at Penn State. If you had to guess, what would you say James Franklin's road record as head coach of Penn State is? Play the Jeopardy music in the background if you want to. I'm going to give you about 7 or 8 more seconds. James Franklin on the road at Penn State. I said 24-13, I think is what I guessed. He's 19-18. He's barely above 500 on the road. Just tuck it in the back of your mind. It may matter Saturday. It may not. Which Penn State offense do you think will show up here? Because I would talk to pretty much any Penn State buddy I got, and you'll probably start by saying, if we run the ball well, ellipsis. Well, let me finish the sentence for you. If you run the ball well, you'll win. Yeah, most people can say that. What is well? Because I look at their rushing totals last year, they were bad, okay? So then it was emphasized all spring, all summer. They went to Purdue in week 1, and their longest run was 12 yards, and they won the game, but I think they averaged 3.1 yards per carry. Would that get the job done Saturday? I can't say no. I definitely can't say yes. Now, last week they played Ohio. Played a really good game. Really complete game for Penn State, which you probably didn't pay attention to because it was Ohio. But you didn't have to watch it. I did for you. Nearly 7 yards per carry. Now, if you get that Saturday, I feel pretty good that you're winning the game and probably running away with the game. This time last year, when we were going into this contest, Penn State had 84 rush yards, 2.5 yards per carry. Still found a way to win the game. But I'm asking you, do those numbers work for you Saturday? What do you have to be at? And then a little side note, how many points do you think you need to score? Jesse said 24. I think it may be even lower than that. Which Auburn offense shows up? What is the Auburn offense? While we're at it, could anyone tell me what the Auburn offense is? Last year, it was Tank Bigsby with a little splash of Bo Nix, but Bigsby, Auburn in general, ran for 182 yards last year, 4.6 yards per carry. I think they need to be at least at that level, if not probably a little better in terms of yards per carry this year, because there is not, whether it's reality or not, there is not any fear on the Manny Diaz Penn State defensive side of things when it comes to Auburn throwing the ball. Finley can throw the ball a mile. I'm not sure that they necessarily trust him to be doing that. This is a very incomplete quarterback picture at Auburn right now. Finley is getting better as a quarterback. He is not remotely in the category that you would need him to be, where Brian Harsin and his staff say, all right, TJ, go win us the game. That's not it. Unfortunately, they're really good at tailback and deep. So they've got players there. But man, I know it. I know they know it at Penn State, and you can afford to key on it. And I don't know. If you're keying on that run game with a defense like Penn State's, I don't know that you're putting up 4.5, 5 yards per carry. I just don't know that they're getting there. So then the next thing you ask is, well, okay, can they loosen that box up? Can Auburn do a little more than I expect them to in the pass game? I don't expect them to do anything. You know why? Javarius Johnson, 7 catches on the season for 158 yards. Shanker has 5 catches for 64 yards. Shedrick Jackson, five catches, 64 yards. This is season now. They played 2 games, and both of them were layup games. Their leading receiver has 7 receptions, 158 total yards. I think they're getting a guy back this week. There's just not a lot there. And so if Manny Diaz watches Auburn beat him through the air, at some point you got to tip your cap to someone. But there is no way they're about to let Tank Bigsby and Auburn's run game beat them and not sell out to stop it. So then the next question, if you're trying to kind of paint the scenario where Auburn wins this thing, is, well, what about hidden yardage? What about special teams? Therein lies one of the secret weapons that Penn State has. Because as good as Auburn is at place kicker, Penn State has a punter. We're not going to get deep into the special teams game here tonight, but he's pinned them inside the 5 like 40 times already this year, seemingly. They will probably have a disproportionate control of field position Saturday night, which may very well be the difference in this kind of game. So the other thing, now it sounds like I'm leaning Penn State there. The other thing I want to talk about is, remember Franklin's record on the road. Also, turnover luck week to week is very random. So far, Auburn's -4 turnovers on the year. Penn State is plus in turnovers on the year. If that statistic flips any one evening, or one afternoon, as it were, this Saturday, that's enough in a close, limited possession game, low-scoring game. That's enough to change the outcome. Here we go. Let's take a look at what Vegas thinks. Let's take a look at what the model thinks. This was tough. This was a really tough one. I arrived at my prediction, Colin, would you say about 15 minutes before airtime? And we worked on it a long time. I just couldn't make my mind up. Okay, so the Penn State line right now is Nittany Lions -3. The model agrees. We've got Penn State -3. And I went back and forth so much. I'm thinking to myself, I've been over there so many times before. I've watched lesser Auburn teams upset much better teams than this Penn State squad even. And I've never been able to explain it. I've not been able to explain it after the game happens. There is a path Saturday where Penn State goes down there and they lose, and even afterwards you're saying, how? The box score doesn't suggest we lost. I felt good. Like I didn't feel like we were losing. Then we just lost. I can't explain it to you. There's just some crazy stuff that happens down there. Most of you have never been there before, and you probably think to yourself, oh, we played at the Big House. We played at the Horseshoe. We played in Kinnick Stadium. That place ain't going to be anything we haven't seen. Stuff happens. Stuff just happens there. The closest parallel you guys have in the Big Ten is Kinnick Stadium at night, where it doesn't seat the most people in the world. It's just different. Weird stuff happens. And I've been at Auburn too many times and seen it happen. And I've watched these teams that are told by literally everyone, even though the line's only 3, and I'll take Penn State in that game. I'm not doing it. I'm taking Auburn to win, and obviously taking Auburn to cover. I think Penn State's better than them. I think they're more talented. I like Penn State's odds better later in the year. I just think Auburn's going to find a way, against not all odds, but against odds, to win this game Saturday. Even though I just said that, I think Penn State folks are going to have a lot of fun down there. It's a great place, wonderful place. You'll get a really good atmosphere because it's still early in the year. Auburn's undefeated, and I look forward to seeing it in person. Saw this game last year in person, and I knew the moment they were walking out of there, and it was a good experience for the Auburn folks who went up there, I know they're going to return the favor. It's not going to be favorable for you, but I know it's going to be favorable in terms of a memorable environment that you get to experience. I'm taking Auburn to win. I don't know what to say. I'm taking Auburn to win. They're booing in my ear as we speak. Very unprofessional. But you know what? I'm going to be the bigger man. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Make sure you like the video and please subscribe to the channel. Not just for me, that's how we keep this entire thing free.